what if we actually got a decent night's sleep? Those questions will be answered next week when we are not reporting on What If.
Woo!
But I am Puppetine of the Geeky Puppet Show here on the Geeky Puppet Show today for what? For What If? With my co-host Zach. What if Zach were asleep? Well, you will not know.
I would have missed this if I were asleep. So
That is true.
there you go.
And this is not what you want to miss. This is what it's all been building up to. And the Guardians of the Multiverse, name confirmed, by the way. They are here. This episode, there's a lot to unpack. And I don't know exactly what to say, but if we're going to give a non-spoiler kind of feeling towards it, I liked many elements of it. I feel like it was lacking in some areas. It needed some time, and if it had some time, it could be seen as a better Avengers movie than the Avengers, which you're not going to. I can see the look on your face.
I feel like that's a little bit of an overjump, a little bit further than I would go, but I do agree with your basic statement is, yeah, this could only have benefited, I think, if it was like an hour long episode instead of 35 minutes, I think it would have been a much better finale, especially if these characters are going to be recurring. Like if we see these specific ones pop up in the next season and so on, yeah, it would definitely only help to flesh out their characters a little bit more. Peggy Carter is one of the biggest ones. I think her face is pretty synonymous with the What If series. She gets a little bit, but then there's other characters, Party Thor or T'Challa Star-Lord, don't really get a whole lot of characterization. Basically, what you remember from their episode just kind of carries over into this. They're just kind of stunted there. But for what it is, though, it is, there are a lot of parts of it that I did also like. There's also some parts that I'm just kind of,
Yeah, no, I get that feeling. I'm going to go ahead and start off with saying it starts with actually Peggy Carter, the one who started us off with the season, and she is about to handle a mission. She goes down on a boat, gets in a fight, and then the Watcher appears and says, "You've been chosen." And we see as he goes through each area. So T'Challa Star-Lord, rescues Dairy Queen Peter Quill, which is what we'll call him now. Dairy Queen Peter Quill. And then he points out, oh, look who's up there. It's a giant baby in space. And boom, T'Challa Star-Lord, you have been chosen. And he goes through, he even chooses villains like Killmonger.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And we get to see an appearance, and this is the most important one to talk about, because everything that we've seen has continued off of where they were. So in Wakanda, they were going after Killmonger. Like I said, with T'Challa Star-Lord, Ego, the living planet, was attacking, and Star-Lord was trying to protect that. And there's one major one that I'm trying to think of.
Was it Party Thor? Party Thor was already fighting the Ultron bots.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
But this one, we see Gamora. She's dressed up in Thanos' armor and has his sword, and she's melting down the Infinity Gauntlet with Tony,
the one who lived.
Yeah,
the Stark who lived.
At least this one didn't die. He is not chosen as a Guardian of the Multiverse.
Nope.
But for some reason, he is in space in an awesome-looking suit.
Yeah.
And he's fighting by Gamora's side. Well, I don't know against what. We don't know, because
we did not get this episode. This is the 10th episode, I feel like.
The 9th episode.
Really would be the 9th. It wouldn't have been the finale. This is that mysterious 9th episode that got bumped back to season 2 because reasons.
COVID.
Yeah.
Which is all we're allowed to say before YouTube says, what you talking about over there? But the Guardians are pulled together into this cosmic bar that evil Doctor Strange, we can't really say evil.
He
Dark,
what
dark Doctor Strange.
misled Doctor Strange, wayward Doctor Strange,
Big
heart
oopsie Doctor
heart
Strange.
heartless Doctor Strange,
Oh, oh, heartbroken Doctor Strange.
the Doctor Strange without a heart, the two sizes too small.
I don't know. That might be going a little too far. Hmm. But yes, in this cosmic facade, as it were, they have drinks and explain the situation. Ultron is going throughout the multiverse and destroying life as we know it everywhere. So they must come together to fight him. We get some small character interactions between some of them, and it's nice. It's not bad. Um, but I feel like it's a little packed together. Maranya has a saying. I'm not even going to try to say it because I always mess it up. But there's too much to fit into 35 minutes.
Yes.
And she makes a good point here. Guardians of the Multiverse. Wouldn't mind a well-written and well-drawn too comic book series based off of these characters.
Well, off these characters, I agree. Off of these characters, it would be interesting to read. They did have a series similar to this. It was called Exiles. It was mutants for the most part. There might have been a few that weren't, but they slid between dimensions. They would visit, all these different multiversal settings. But anyway, but yeah, no, I wouldn't mind, but like you said, the key word is well written.
And this wasn't poorly written. It's just not enough. It's not enough that it feels like it flows naturally because it's just put together. And
I like the saying. I like the saying a lot.
Too much sausage to fit into the casing. It's the truth. Have you ever tried to put the meat into the sausage casing before?
No, I don't handle on that end. I just buy it from the butcher and cook it and eat it.
Have you ever tried to squeeze it out of the casing?
You know what? Yes.
Yes,
I have
you have.
done that.
So
I
you
have done that.
understand.
So I do understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So when you're dealing with sausage like that, you need to make sure that it's packaged properly. If you have too much sausage, your casing isn't going to hold. It leaks all over the place, and you're like, what did I just sit through?
For more butchering tips, tricks, and do it yourselves, be sure to subscribe to the Geeky Puppet Show.
Well, I would. Yes. The story butcher. That's what we are as we're telling this tale.
That is true. That is true.
Getting back to it, though. So together they are having not a last hurrah, but we're going to do this tomorrow. It's going to be great on this desolate kind of planet. And they're sharing drinks, and Party Thor goes ahead and he makes a lightning blast. He's like, yeah! And then guess who shows up? Which they kind of expected, but at the same time weren't expecting. So quickly the Watcher comes into action. They teleport two of the characters out and they start a fight. Mm-hmm. There's not much to go to story-wise into this fight. There are cool scenes, though.
There are cool scenes. That is true. Some of the scenes are really cool. But yeah, you're right. It's not anything that really dives into, story-wise. There's nothing to pick apart. It's just really cool stuff to see. There's Thor throwing Mjolnir, and Doctor Strange multiplies Mjolnir because Doctor Strange could multiply himself or other people. So that was really cool.
He gives a mystic kind of power up to Captain Carter's shield, and she crashes into Ultron, and then she hitches a ride on one of the Mjolnirs that are flying around, and she lands. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they end up on, Ultron's Earth.
Yes, Ultron world, or the world from the last episode.
Yes.
With Hawkeye and Black Widow. Yeah, they end up there. They've swiped. I don't know why it was the Soul Stone specifically. Maybe it's because
the Soul Stone ties it all together.
Maybe. It's funny because the Soul Stone. You pointed this out last week. It's like, how does Ultron get the Soul Stone if there's no Gamora? Anyway.
Yeah.
T'Challa does steal the Soul Stone. He gets in close enough to steal the Soul Stone, and they take it and they equip it in Gamora's Infinity Stone Crusher, and they're ready to destroy it and win after a few more fights and everything. And just when it seems like they win, Ultron gets up and he's like, "Hey, by the way, that machine was designed to destroy Gamora's universe's stones, not his universe's stones. Apparently, the stones have different densities or whatever, depending on the universe."
Yeah, which makes sense. So that leads to questions like, then how did your Infinity Stones work in other universes, as it were? We could say that perhaps the planet that they were on in before Ultron came was still in his universe. That's possible. And we never actually saw him use the stones in another universe. We saw Ultron bots overtaking those worlds. True. So there are reasonable excuses here. So we can give some leniency there.
I'm also just going to chalk it up to it's a comic book show.
I know. I like a little logic.
Oh, I like the logic too. It's a little bit of both for me. There are, if you go dive into it, there are scenes, like you say, they offer a little bit of logic to it. But then at the same time, I'm just like, it's comic books. Thor's beating people with flying hammers. I'm not going to, split hairs. But yeah. Anyway.
Where was I? Where were we?
Where were we?
Oh, yes. The Soul Stone.
Yeah, the Soul Stone.
They swipe the Soul Stone, and right as they're about to put it into the machine to power it up so that way they can go ahead and grab on and destroy the stones, Black Widow shows up. Yes, because
we forgot about her.
Yeah, she appears because it's Ultron's Earth, and she's saying, "I'm supposed to be the last person on this planet."
Mm-hmm.
So you can't. Well, what are you doing here? And so it takes Captain Carter, who has formed a bond with Black Widow on her Earth. They are friends. That must be made very clear. She's still pining after Steve, which you can feel.
Yeah. It's Captain Carter. Basically, if you just replace Steve Rogers and the Winter Soldier, that opening scene with Captain Carter, that's pretty much what you get. Yeah. When we first see Captain Carter, they're coming up on the tanker. She has to fight Batroc. Natasha's trying to set her up with somebody from accounting. But you can tell from that little bit that Peggy and Natasha have become very close friends.
Yep. And so she uses that bond to go ahead and say tell her some facts about herself. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, okay, well, you must know me really well. And gives the stone back. But that's when Ultron comes to Earth, and the fight reaches round 2. Mm-hmm.
Ding ding.
And it goes on for a while, and leads to that moment that you say they use that, and it doesn't work. But that's when Black Widow has an idea, because she still has the arrow to upload the
virus arrow that had the little USB that they put Arnim Zola in.
Zola, yes.
Zola, that guy.
The Zola code, as it were.
Also, fun thing, so part of this whole round 2, I believe it was part of the round 2. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I might have to rewatch this. They pull in from every episode of this season. In some way, comes into shape in this, or comes into view in this finale. Doctor Strange pulls a portal that has a bunch of the Marvel zombies pour out of it. This was actually one of my favorite parts, because the zombies were coming through and Thor's like, "Oh, zombies, great, I love zombies." And Doctor Strange is like, "Well, actually the zombies are all right, but I brought somebody else that's more important." I was kind of hoping that this is where Spider-Man would show up. We don't get Spider-Man in this episode. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. We do get zombie Scarlet Witch, though.
I thought I was expecting zombie Thanos, who has most of the stones.
Zombie Thanos would have been cool too. Zombie Hope would have also been cool because she'd have been giant. But actually, Zombie Scarlet Witch works because you think about it, she hates both Thanos with the Infinity Gems and Ultron, so it's like double whammy. So that was actually one of my favorite scenes from the episode, probably, because what they do is the two of them end up blowing up this Earth, and then our heroes have to teleport. I think they teleport to another planet. I'm not sure.
No, they're on the other planet, and then they teleport to Earth.
They
So it
teleport
was in
to Earth.
round
Okay.
one.
Gotcha. Okay.
But after this, they go. Hey, they're fighting, and we get to see as well. Captain Carter distracts Ultron for a moment, just enough to lift his mask, and that's when the arrow flies in, and we get to see the internal battle, as it were, and Zola is too powerful for the Ultron code and takes it down. And that's when it seems like the fight is over.
Yay!
Killmonger, using the head that Party Thor brought, he is able to take the Infinity Stones and he puts it on himself with the with the armor. But that's when Zola is like, "Hey, it's mine," and so
exactly like that too.
Exactly like that. And they are in a battle, and the stones are torn. Well, not physically torn, but they cannot. They are stuck in between them.
Yeah,
and that's when Doctor Strange realizes we weren't supposed to win. They trap them in a pocket dimension, forever going and seeking those stones right between them. And we've reached the end now. Dark Doctor Strange has what is he? What is the name? Strange Supreme, I believe.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strange Supreme is what they call him, and he agrees to watch over it in his world.
Because what else is he gonna do in his little pocket universe? Yeah, he stands watch over these guys because if they escape, it's gonna cause pandemonium and mayhem everywhere, all over again.
And that's when the Watcher sends everybody home. Captain Carter kind of doesn't want to go. She'd rather go back in time.
Haven't I earned my happy ending? No,
yes,
you haven't. You have to live through your own version of Infinity War and Endgame, Peggy. You don't shortcut to the end.
Well, maybe.
You do what Steve did. Well, yeah, maybe. More on that later.
So we see after that, the only one left is Black Widow from Ultron's world.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I'm not going back there. There's nothing for me. Literally no life anywhere ever. And that's when the Watcher says, well, the door is just a metaphor anyway. He tears down the cosmic bar and they appear in, on an Earth where apparently Black Widow had died. And it's not our world.
It's the episode 3, What If the Avengers Had Died world, where Hank Pym went crazy and killed all the Avengers before they could form.
Oh, that's a good catch. That's why there's Captain Marvel and Captain America fighting.
That's why there's Marvel. That's why there's Cap. That's why they're fighting as Guardians. And it's actually really cool because she shows up, kicks Loki in the head, and Loki gets up. He's like, I heard you were dead. And Natasha, funny, I heard the same thing about you. Because in Ultron, they think
all connected.
Like I said, every episode gets put into play here. So yeah,
here is, because that's the end, and it ends kind of with a little monologue from the Watcher saying, "I am watching over the multiverse, and I will protect it no matter what. These stories mean everything to me." And then we get a little end credit scene where it seems the Hydra Stomper was found after the fight with what's his name?
Red Skull?
No, on the boat.
Batrock.
Batrock, yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is going back to the tanker boat that Peggy Carter was on at the beginning.
This is the only end credit scene we've got.
Yeah. In the whole season, we finally get one. It's at the end of the season.
Yeah, and it seems that somebody is inside the Hydra Stomper. Dun dun dun. So preserved, maybe like the Winter Soldier. We don't know, and this may lead to a second part. But overall, this episode does leave me with some questions and concerns because I'm going to have to bring up a point that a human version of myself once brought up. There are other Watchers. Where are they? And I thought it was going to come up this episode. I really did. I was expecting at the end that Watu was going to be dealt with by the other Watchers, but that didn't happen. So we're going to. I don't know where they went. This is a question we want answers.
And it's not just like a comic book lore. There are other Watchers. We've seen in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, there are multiple Watchers because there's that Stan Lee cameo, or at least like there's 2 or 3 of them. So yeah, it's kind of curious. Maybe they overlooked it. That's where I'm tending to think. It's like maybe they're just not paying attention to the past movies. But yeah, because the episode is titled "What If the Watcher Broke His Oath." But you wouldn't really know that from watching the episode. You would just think, oh, hey, he just grabbed people. It's of no consequence, whatever. Because, like you said, there's no other Watchers. Nothing's brought up. He didn't mention his oath being broken. Watcher's barely in this episode, actually. Aside from gathering the Guardians from their timelines and telling them all what's going on in the little bar and then dispersing them at the end, he's nowhere to be found. He doesn't like armor up and fight with them in this episode. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, and missing, there's an episode missing, and we know it's pushed back to season 2, but that leaves a major gap, which everything else is connected, and we know all these characters, and then just Gamora just thrown in. It feels very random.
And it's not like, and she doesn't even have like a key critical role in the story of the team up anyway. She's there. She has the little machine that kills the stones,
and it doesn't work.
Which doesn't work. But other than that, it's just like there's just these random scenes where you see Gamora there. You're like, oh hey, why is she here? What does she do? Like, why does she have the sword? Why is she Thanos or Thanos's heir or what? It's.
But she is obviously not if she's trying to destroy the stone. So what is the deal? We don't know.
We just don't know.
And this leads to the next part, where how do we think of season 1 in general? By the way, he wants to see your T-shirt.
It's Tuesday, Taco Tuesday.
That's a cool T-shirt.
Dark tacos. So.
But overall, I think that a lot of these episodes were really good. There is not one episode that really bothers me, really offends me in any way. If I had to choose a least favorite, it would lean towards the Killmonger episode.
Yeah, probably the Killmonger one. It's not. None of it's really bad. The Killmonger, I would even put that one at a 5 or a 6. It's like the MCU movies. None of them are necessarily bad. They're all pretty well made movies. It's just how much do you like the story. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I'd give the season maybe like a B-, C+, maybe somewhere in that ballpark if I had to grade it.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd go minus or plus. I'd probably just go flat B.
Flat B. Flat B. I could do a flat B.
And I know before we go into favorite episodes, I know Miranya's favorite episode. It is the Gamora episode only because Tony Stark lives. She hasn't even seen it, but it is her favorite episode.
Yep, I could see it. I can totally see that.
Let me go ahead and ask. If you had to choose one episode that was like, wow, this was really great, spectacular, really took you away, what would it be?
Well, I have 2 answers for that. There's the answer, like the objectively best made episode. It's the Doctor Strange one. Objectively speaking, it's the best story. You actually get character development in that one. It's very well done. Personally, though, I don't always lean towards those types of episodes. My favorite is the zombie episode. It was fun. I like zombie stuff, even though I've kind of got wore out on the genre recently. I just really dug this episode. The jokes, the funny. I mean, it wasn't meant to be funny like Party Thor episode was, but I just really dug that one a lot. And I think it opened up. There was a lot of cool stuff that they were able to kind of throw together into a pot with that.
Yeah.
What about you?
About me, I'm really conflicted. You're right. Episode 4, yes, the Doctor Strange episode is the best episode, period. As for what I feel, I really love episode 3, the Who Done It, who killed all the
Ah,
Avengers.
that one, yeah, because you
Hmm.
were actually wondering who was. Like, it wasn't clear at first who it
Yeah,
was. Yeah,
and involving Hank Pym that way, and it really goes into the what if territory. We're going way back, way back, and we're dealing with early MCU, and it's really good, and it reaches into that nostalgia and breathes a breath of fresh air into it.
yeah,
So I really love that episode. Um, wait, 1 second. Yes, because of a pandemic, they pushed off an episode.
yeah.
It's kind of silly if you ask me. It's one more episode.
A little silly. Plus, I mean, it's animation and voice work, which most people you can do from home. Not like you have to go onto a lot. It's a little weird, but
And Morania's bringing up the fact that maybe the Watcher could get yelled at the beginning of season 2 for something. Maybe it will
maybe.
tap into the deeper Watcher lore, which they should eventually.
Maybe.
We're
We'll
gonna,
see.
yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But overall, this season, like we said, while it is, I'd give it a flat B. There's so much good in here, and I am better off having it than being without it.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I think it's fun to have. I did like, in a lot of the episodes, I did enjoy seeing those various ingredients from the MCU just kind of mix matched all around. Like the Party Thor episode, I thought was just really really fun. Uh, Even the Iron Man, what if Killmonger saved Iron Man? It did have, at least for the first half, that little bit of nostalgia where it was incorporating a lot of the Iron Man 1 territory. So a lot of that was really fun. Uh, and yeah, overall, I mean, there have been worse Marvel shows.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am also going to say that I look forward to the next season, but I know one thing that especially you are not going to miss, and that is sleep deprivation. Next week, the next Wednesday morning, you get to sleep. It's okay. You're welcome.
Thank you, Disney, for keeping. No, see, that's the thing. My calls to Disney worked. They actually cut out the Gamora episode because I told them after the first one, like, guys, I can't do this for 10 weeks. You have to cut it off at 9.
You don't want to tell people that; they might think that you're the reason we're missing an episode.
Hey, what have I done? No,
What have you done, Zach?
no, this has been fun though. This actually has been a lot of fun. This is, it's been a fun show, and whenever season 2 comes out, I'm looking forward to watching that. You know what I want to see? I want to see what if the Netflix heroes were allowed to actually interfere with the regular MCU. That's the one I want to see.
I don't think we'll ever see that.
No,
But
that's a pipe dream. But
we're going to, I think that about does it. So we're going to ask you to please leave a like, comment, let us know what you thought about the season. You heard our thoughts for the last half hour. It's your turn. So after the stream, go ahead and say it in the comments below. Also, make sure to subscribe. We're trying to build a base here. Got to get those numbers up, and you can help do that. And also check out the Ko-Fi. Drop $1 if you can. We read comic books. Maybe you want us to read a what-if story. If you do, go ahead and drop it with your tip, and we'll put it to the top of the reading list. So, with all that said, and my little puppet lungs out of breath, for Zach and myself, thank you so much for watching and joining us for season 1 of What If, and we will see you next time. Bye! What if we ate those?